Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, of all praise, the Most High Yahweh, acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. I think after this video, we're going to get a lot more clarity. I think the Most High is going to give us a lot more clarity between the two breakdowns of Scripture. You're going to get a much clearer understanding of the fact that the Gentiles stole our writings and made them pretty much all literal. And a lot of times, many of the scriptures and our writings were actually esoteric and had many hidden meanings. This is going to be had my mind blown. I read this evening, and I just had to bring it to you and bring this information out to you, because if you've been with me for these last few years, you've seen how the Most High has made me grow. How I've had to change many of the things that I believed, how the Most High has given me more information. And then, as you get more information, you have to process it, internalize it, and eventually accept it and try to work it into things that you might have known before, or old ideas might have to be, thrown out, and you might have to get new things and things like that. And as you can see, the vast majority of the world can't do that. They have a certain breakdown, and for whatever reason, they can't leave, or they can't leave that space. And I didn't realize this, but my the ministry, or the mission that the Most High has had me on, has actually been written in the stars. And if you probably get a little bit more understanding about the zodiacs and information like what they mean and what they signify, you probably be able to find a lot of your ministries in the zodiacs as well. And like I said, this is some absolutely mind-blowing information. And just knowing that how the Most High made us, we were born under certain influences, under certain zodiac signs, in order to make us and prepare us for the mission that the Most High had for us down here. And that's going to become really evident when you read this information we're going to get into today. But see, since now it makes more sense as to why, the other nations have taken our scriptures, and since they broke them down all pretty much literally, they're stuck trying to force prophecy with their literal understandings. And as you can see, things are not working out that way. All these, they still stuck on the rapture. How I look at a lot of these dudes that talk about the rapture was supposed to have been in Hanukkah. Now they got a new date. Now they got a new time. And it's been like this for years. Because they cannot leave, that thinking, and they cannot leave that mindset that they are going to be raptured at any minute. And because that's that breakdown that they have. That's that exoteric breakdown. That's that literal breakdown. And it could probably, that section probably meant something totally different to the Hebrews or to the originators of those scriptures. But the other nations got a hold of our information, and they've, made it so that you can only look at it from one angle, and that's it. And that's why they're always wrong. Now check this part out right here. I'm a Capricorn. So, Mark 11, 27, 12 through 44 is more like the Capricorn part of the book of Mark. And some of the information that's in there fits my ministry to the T. And it's just absolutely amazing. But when you start looking at the Capricorn and the characteristics, it really fit me also to the T. So the Most High knew what He wanted me to do, had me born under a certain sign, and with that sign, He prepared me for the mission I was going to be going through when I was here this time. Okay, so we got So Ananda, you must be your own lamps, be your own refuges. Hold firm to the truth as a lamp and a refuge, and do not look for refuge to anything besides yourselves. The Buddha. Is that not how it is when you get into this truth? Who do you go and talk to about these things? Who do you go and talk to, about the zodiacs and the Bible and the 12 tribes and that going with the 12 zodiacs. Most people will just they as soon as they hear those kinds of things, it's witchcraft, it's evil, it's things you shouldn't be looking at. God didn't send me here to teach esoteric things. You'll hear things like that. You know, God didn't teach me, He didn't send me here to teach the Kabbalah. You're right. God didn't send you here to teach that. You're teaching exactly what the Most High wants you to teach. But He was going to raise up people that's going to get into these different subjects, get into all this different subject matter. And the Most High is the one that prepares people. And He prepared us before we even got here. Okay? So let's check this out. Capricorn and Saturn. Capricorn is the sign of the winter solstice, the point of the sun's maximum southerly declination, when nights are at their longest in the northern hemisphere. The sun, symbolic of individual consciousness, is now at its weakest, and the forces of darkness, symbolizing the collective, predominate. This is when institutions freeze into systems, when the demands of society and its laws take precedence over individual initiative. And something in here makes me think about what happened with the Buffalo Bills has something to do with the Capricorn and all this information about the forces of darkness, symbolizing the collective. And I'm sure but you may see if anyone here can put that together. But there's got to be, I'm sure there's some kind of a connection going on here. Okay, and that was it. When the demands of society and its laws take precedence over individual initiative, and the major organizations of collective endeavor begin their task of regulation and control. Capricorn symbolizes organizational man, the company, the state, the team, any area of life in which the individual is a participating member, or worse, a computer generated number. Some hint of this polarity between the individual and the community is preserved in the ancient symbol of Capricorn, the goatfish, which is half one creature, half another. Just as a human person lives partly as an individual, partly as a member of a group. So you see what I'm saying? Like, so talking about Damar Hamlin right there, partly as an individual, partly as a group. So this whole time of the year, it would kind of make sense that they would do that kind of a, sacrifice, or, them sitting there and doing that kind of a ritual right now, during this time. As you can tell, they're well aware of where we are on as far as the zodiac signs are concerned. And it seems like that ritual goes exactly with this right here. Okay? So again, the goldfish is half one creature, half another. Just as a human person lives partly as an individual, partly as a member of a group. The signs of the glyphs supposedly resembles the horns of a goat with a curling fishtail. Okay? Dane Rubyar tells us that this is the phase of life in which the state assumes control over the individual, and in which an individual ruler can become totally subservient to his office. You got all the people who saw this ritual going on, and everybody came together, and they all had thoughts and prayers, and they all came together to pray and everything else. So, like I said, they're trying to use the zodiacs and for themselves, for their own benefits. But see, now that we can actually see what's going on, then it's like you can see it. It wasn't just it wasn't just by chance. It just happened to be during this time of the year at this time. talk about individuals and teams and everything else. And so I'm sure there's other things that are going on in here. I'm gonna leave this for you guys to read this apart on your own. Okay, let's continue. Let's take a look at the characteristics, right? Capricorn characteristics, when embodied in an individual, can contribute markedly to the collective good, as Giddings says. So these characteristics fit me to the T. And what's funny is my wife is actually a Capricorn as well. Capricorn may often appear rather dominating to those who do not like being controlled, but someone has to shoulder life's responsibilities. The Capricorn gives structure to the human world. He is the force which prevents us from being lost in mere anarchy, the great stabilizer in the world of man. Now, in my ministry, reading other books is always, something that I've been doing for a very long time. If you go back and look at my old videos, you're going to see me reading other books, introducing people to other books, getting into other information. You're going to see that for years. Breaking out of status quo, breaking out of the chains of the churches dominating what you read, what you accept, and then things of that nature. And that's something that I think the Most High set me up to do. So again, Capricorn may often appear rather dominating to those who do not like being controlled, but someone has to shoulder life's responsibilities. The Capricornian gives structure to the human world. He is the force which prevents us all from being lost in mere anarchy, the great stabilizer in the world of man. And we were stuck in the world of anarchy. We were stuck just listening to the church. We were stuck. I mean, think of all the anarchy that the church has just gone around worldwide, okay, and has just brought anarchy everywhere it's gone. That's been its modus operandi, to just do all these horrible, heinous things, and then after they're done doing that, go ahead and go and hide their history, hide all their actions, and then build up schools, build up colleges, and then tell everybody how great they are and how they're all about love. And that just creates all this anarchy, because now you got all these people who refuse to read, refuse to look at history, and refuse to think for themselves, and just take everything that the church says hook, line, and sinker. And as you can see, we're living in a world of anarchy. You have pretty much two gods: the God of the churches and the Most High. These churches, like I said, have brought nothing but anarchy and death and destruction. And the vast majority of the world is content with that because they don't want to make any changes for themselves. Now, what's crazy is the next part about what we're going to get into, talking about the book of Mark. And there's a section, okay, all the sections of the book of Mark are broken into like 12 different sections, and each section deals with like a characteristic of a zodiac. So you're going to see what they talk about for the zodiac of Capricorn. And this section that they're going to talk about fits exactly the things that the Most High has had me do since I've been doing this. So I've been making videos, and it was just absolutely amazing, because it's just more confirmation that the Most High has been working with me, and I don't like to, talk about those kinds of things. Like, hey, you can just look by, I tell people all the time, don't go by what people say, go by their actions. Many people want to say, the Most High is working with me. The Most High is working with me. I'm working with the Most High. I'm doing the will of God. This, that. I always tell people, just look at the fruits of the person. Look at the fruits. Look at what they are doing. Look at what they are accomplishing. Okay. And what you're going to see right now is you're going to see what the Most High has had me do is actually written in the stars, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm sure if you do some research, you might find that some things that you've been doing goes exactly with what's written in the stars as well. Now, see, this is why I think that the other nations have really made it so that to look at the stars is evil. To look at the zodiac is evil. You know why? Because nothing that they're doing is written up there like that. The things that they're doing, there's no positive stories written about the Gentiles and the stars. But there are going to be positive stories of the Most High's chosen people, accomplishing the will of the Father written in the stars, because it was already prophesied to happen, and now you're going to get a confirmation that these things have already been happening, and the Gentiles and the other nations they're not going to see these prophecies because they're looking for only exoteric uh, prophecies to be fulfilled. They're not looking at the esoteric prophecies being filled because this esoteric information has absolutely nothing to do with them. Okay? So skip on down. He says the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, the furthest away from the Earth of all the planets visible to the naked eye, to the ancient world. Saturn marked the boundary of our planetary system, and so came to represent all boundaries and limits, principal among these being death. Okay? So now, this part right here said just absolutely amazing. Check this part out right here. The spiritual lesson of Capricorn. Let's see. Trying to see if I should read that part. I'll just read it. Lawyers are all right, I guess. I mean, they're all right if they go around saving innocent guys' lives all the time, and like that. But you don't do that kind of stuff if you're a lawyer. All you do is make a lot of dough and play golf and play bridge and buy cars and drink martinis and look like a hotshot. And besides, even if you did go around saving guys' lives at all, how would you know if you did it because you really wanted to save the guys' lives, or you did it because what you really wanted to be was a terrific lawyer? How would you know, you weren't being a phony? The trouble is, you wouldn't. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, born 1st of January 1919. Okay? It is a question of spiritual authority that Mark addresses first in the Capricorn section of his gospel. A group of chief priests, scribes, and elders approach Jesus and ask him by what authority he does the things he does. Jesus replies with a question of his own. Now, before I read this, I do that all the time. I was doing this for years because, when people will say things about, well, this book, you can't read this book. You can't read that book. This book isn't, canonized. This is not. I said, well, I says, with your statement, I'm going to ask a question. Show me in the Bible, show me anywhere where the Most High only gave us 80 books, where the Most High only gave us 66 books. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm always questioning the authority of the churches. They're the ones that have said that you can only read these books. Under what authority do they have to tell you what you can and can't read? Now let's check this part out. Jesus replies with a question of his own. I will ask you one question. Answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I am doing these things. John's baptism, was it from heaven or from men? Tell me. They discussed it among themselves and said, if we say from heaven, he will ask, then why didn't you believe him? But if we say from men, they feared the people, for everyone held that John really was a prophet. Okay? So same thing with me. I've been asking them. I haven't even made these connections, but this is the first section of the Capricorn section. And I'm always asking them are you going through the authority of men, or are you following the authority of the Most High? Did men give you 66 books, or did the Most High give you 66 books? So it was just crazy to see how this went along with a lot of the things that I've been saying for years. And the fact that it's in this Capricorn section is just absolutely amazing. It says, they have fallen into Jesus' trap, since any opinion they might voice would be based on social expediency and not on any objective assessment, okay, of the evidence. And that's it. Like, that's why I think, like, a lot of these Jews, Gentiles, Israelites, whatever else, the other nations as well, they don't even answer. They just keep it quiet. They don't say anything. I have not seen one video trying to explain why we're stuck reading only 66 or 80 books. They try to pull out one verse about nothing else mates with her, which has nothing to do with it because there was no Bible when just Isaiah was talking. So to sit there and try to use one, but that's what they've done. I'm going to use this one verse. Oh, I cut them. I got the. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I cut them. That's it. All right, that shows you that no, it's only the Bible. Well, there was no Bible when Isaiah said that. There was no 66 books. There was no 80 books. That came way later. So to sit there and keep on saying that just shows that you're just pushing the same agenda as the Catholic Church. And that's why we still got a lot of Catholic Hebrews running around here as well. So it says they are unable to answer without incriminating themselves. That's why they don't answer, because they can't. They're going to incriminate themselves. Because if they say one thing, it's going to look a certain way. If they say another thing, it's going to look another way. Okay, incriminate themselves, and so they admit that the question has defeated them. Jesus' response is wonderfully audacious and provides one of the few occasions on which the reader is forced to smile. If you can't answer my question, he says, I won't tell you where my authority comes from. So if you can't answer my question, then I'm not going to waste my time answering yours. That's what Yahushua was doing right here when he was talking to the big wigs of the day. And the Most High had put that in my heart for years to answer these questions the exact same way. Answer their questions with questions of my own. Don't just give them the the status of being above you, and that you're forced to try to answer their questions. But see, these are things that were written in the stars. This is in the Capricorn section of the book of Mark. Absolutely amazing. It is well for us to remember that these men are the sources of authority in Israel. They are not simply marketplace debaters. The chief priests, who would almost certainly have been from the powerful and influential Sadducean party, are accompanied by those Saturnian figures, the elders, the older men, the pillars of the community, the sage, and venerable counselors of the people. Also present are some scribes, legal experts who were generally associated with the Pharisees, who could quote the law of Moses verbatim, and who could cite precedent and precept on all matters pertaining to religious affairs. Jesus' handling of his interrogation at their hands shows his contempt for their supposed wisdom and for the whole system of spiritual authority on which their combined status as teachers of the people is based. Now, I'm just going to stop it on that part right there, okay? Now, as I said, just you start just kind of just thinking and putting this information together. What are the odds that the Most High would have me kind of like, answering their questions with more questions? Them always wanting to talk about the scriptures, but then never wanting to prove that we're stuck with 66 or 80 books. The fact that they don't ever answer the question shows that they have no answer. You see? And this just shows you that this is how and this is the Capricorn section of the book of Mark. Now there's more sections to it, so I'm probably going to read some more and see what else I can find and bring to you. But I just wanted to share that with you. Because like I said, it just showed you how the Most High had prepared me to be ready for this time of my life in order to be able to answer these questions. And I had never even seen this before, but after the fact, this has been like years of talking to people and talking to people who were higher up in Israel, and people who wanted to attack and whatever else about other books, Book of Mormon, reading this book, reading that book. You read too many books, this and that. But again, never proving that we're stuck reading 66 books. Who are you listening to? Are you listening to man, or are you listening to the Most High? Because the Most High never limited you to 66 or 80 books. Man did. The church did. And those same kinds of questions and those same kind of men were present during the time of Yahushua and are here today as well. Now you understand. Now you listen to them trying to break down the Bible. You can see their exoteric, view of the Bible and their exoteric breakdown of the Bible. Now you see why all of their prophecies are not coming to pass. Now you see why they try to manipulate the events in the world in order to try to fit their their exoteric understanding. But the Most High, when these scriptures were not written for exoteric understanding. We had all these books and all these records. We knew about history. So do you really think that our understanding is only going to be limited to an exoteric understanding? See, 2nd Esdras 14 lets you know that some of the books are going to go to everyone. So it makes sense that these books that are going to go to everyone are going to be disseminated with an exoteric understanding, because only a few people will have the ability to get esoteric understanding. And then when it tells you there's going to be other books later on for the wise, that would make sense that would be for these other books, and this other understanding would be coming from an esoteric understanding. And the Most High is going to get this information. He's going to bring it together. He's the one that's bringing together the Zodiacs. He's the one showing you how the book of Mark is actually going with the Zodiacs. And then this part about the Capricorn, and I happen to be a Capricorn, and the things that he talks about right here, fit the ministry that I've been doing, and I've been involved in to the T. None of these things are an accident. All this stuff is the way the Most High has set it up. And as you can see, you look at the other nations right now. Look at their breakdowns. Nothing's changed. Their breakdowns are the same because they're coming from exoteric, mindset, exoteric point of view. Look at things like a history book, and not talk about the hidden things that are in these scriptures. But they would have never gotten that in the first place because they never had access to the scriptures in the first place. So then when they did get access to them, they would be stuck with only giving you an exoteric understanding. So this is absolutely amazing understanding right here, and it's amazing times that we're in. And as I get more information, I'll be bringing it to you guys, Most High willing, as long as He wants me to do that, so we can get more and more understanding. But just know that, just know and understand that the Most High has given us back not just these books, but also the hidden meanings, and the connections with the zodiacs, and how these things are all playing out, and it's making a big it's making a big separation between the Most High's people and the other nations. You can see it more and more because they're still stuck talking about rapture every day. They're still stuck talking about Russia every day. Still talking about Ish and Iran every day, but not giving you any deeper understanding of the scriptures, because the deeper understanding was never given to them in the first place. All praise is the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.